Hello, Allegan Tigers. This is Superintendent James Antoine with a return to school update regarding the potential for an October 1st fully face-to-face return. Back in August, when the board approved the Safe Start plan for Allegan Public Schools, there were some factors we stated might delay that October 1st return. I'd like to review those with you today. One of them was that the state could have been moved to phase 3, which would have mandated all schools transition to distance learning. We might have collected information over the hybrid start that indicated that the students were not responding well. That was a possibility. Inadequate funding might have limited our ability to supply PPE. The possibility existed that the Allegan County Health Department would provide us some guidance. They now have since September 16th of last week. We'll go over that with you today. Student or staff illness during the hybrid start also was a possibility of delaying our October 1st target date. So let's go through those. One of the questions was there a phase change? And the answer is no. Our region is still in phase 4 of the Michigan Safe Start plan, which is good news because we have not regressed, but we were all hoping that we would be in phase 5 by now, and that has not happened. How are our students responding? All indications that I have are that our students are responding very well to the protocols and procedures, including wearing masks when required. I want to thank them for that, and the teachers and the parents and families for helping us with that very important thing. Have we been able to provide PPE and cleaning supplies? The answer is yes. That is not currently an issue for Allegan Public Schools. Has Allegan Public Schools had any confirmed cases of COVID-19? The answer is no. Excellent news that we have had 0 confirmed student or staff positive cases as of today. And since the start of school, we have had only 1 staff member quarantined due to an outside situation and 1 student quarantined due to a situation that was not within our school district. I also want to review that the Allegan County Health Department did not provide guidance yet over the summer. That was something they were working on. And now we do have some guidance from them. They've been doing a wonderful job of keeping us appraised of all of the guidance coming from the health department from the state. And now I do have some new guidance to go over with you today. One of the things that changed was that schools and the decisions based on reopening were going to be based on the county's data, not the region's data. And that county level determination for schools was going to be based upon 2 data points. One of them is the data point called cases per day per million, and the other data point is called percent positivity. And as the cases per day per million go up, the risk level goes up. And if the percent positivity go up, the risk level goes up. The health department recommended for us to take some steps. The first step being to determine what phase the region is in, which we stated earlier was phase 4. And that does mean that in-person instruction is allowed with strict safety protocols. The next step would be to determine the county risk level based on the data points I described earlier, which were cases per million and percent positivity. Allegan County is in the medium high risk for cases per million, and thankfully the low risk for percent positivity. But the guidance states that we need to go with the higher of the 2 risk levels, so our county would be determined to be medium high risk at this time. Other factors that may be considered in the risk level for the county are individual outbreaks, deaths, emergency room visits, and some other factors. Then the next step is to determine the building and district level data. And the questions are there cases, which we've already said there are not, and is there ongoing transmission, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So then we use those steps to determine whether we should increase the student density, which would be a fully face-to-face return, stay the same, which would be a hybrid, or reduce density further and go fully remote. Those are the options on the table as we determine based upon the steps above. So when we look at the county risk determination level, Allegan's cases per million per day is, as of today, this number changes frequently, 32.2 daily per million. That's the medium high risk number we talked about earlier. The percent positivity is 1.7%, which for us is very low. The way that works is that level is changed when the cases per million and the percent positivity have declined for 14 straight days. In Allegan County, the cases per million level would need to be less than 20 daily per million for 2 weeks to get to that medium risk level. And the guidance are, again, if we have factors that are different levels, that we would put ourselves in the higher risk. For us, again, is medium high. In order to be sort of declining in that scale, we would have to have some 5 days of sustained increases in those data points, or 10% increases in community cases. So what we were provided by the health department is this very helpful chart that helps guide us in our decision making regarding returning to school. One of the factors we look at is on the left, which is the county level risk determination. And then up on the top are the school building and district factors. So what risk level are we in? And then we talk about if we've had cases in the buildings and district, and whether or not we have what is called ongoing transmission. So as you can see right now, we're in medium high risk, as we talked about, and we have no cases in the buildings. And so that does permit us to have in-person instruction with what they call strict mitigation measures, and we'll go over that later. If we were to go to the high risk level, which to be honest, we are close to with those cases per million approaching 40 at times, and still have no cases in the building, we still would be in a fairly safe zone to have in-person instruction with strict mitigation measures. And we would have a discussion with the local health department due to the increase in risk level for our county. In the event that we were to have known cases in the buildings, but no ongoing transmission and stay at medium high risk, in-person instruction with strict mitigation measures is still permitted. If we were to move to high risk in that scenario, we would need to consider reduced density, and that would be a hybrid. That is where we are now, a reduced density of students in the buildings. In the event that we get ongoing transmission of COVID-19 in our buildings and are at either medium high or high risk, we would reduce density, stay at a reduced density place, which is hybrid instruction. And so once again, when we've determined that school determination level in which we have no cases and currently no ongoing transmission, which is defined as multiple cases, 3 or more, among students or staff, with onsets within a 14-day period who are epidemiologically linked, which just means plausible that they were caused by the same source. So as you can see by that, to get to ongoing transmission would be something that could happen extremely quickly. Ongoing transmission, 1 student might infect 2 additional kids, that's 3, and then we would be labeled as having ongoing transmission in the building. So where do we stand? So where we stand according to the guidance from the health department is that we are permitted to have in-person instruction, but we must have strict mitigating measures, which is what I would like to discuss next. Those green boxes in the chart indicated that that is what would be required for us to have fully face-to-face instruction. So that would include all required and strongly recommended measures in the return to school roadmap, including the ability to social distance to the maximum extent possible. So in our situation, if we were to double the population of kids on buses and double the population of kids in the buildings, we could not do a very good job at social distancing, which would put our kids and staff at greater risk under the current data profile for COVID-19 in our area. So what that does mean for us is that we will be remaining in a hybrid instructional model for at least the first trimester. The plan now that was passed on the September 14th board meeting indicates that we need to reconfirm monthly at board meetings with public comment. We would encourage community input on this issue at each monthly board meeting moving forward. We must continue to follow all safety protocols and executive orders. And this will also provide an opportunity for better alignment with when we're going to permit transitions to and from Allegan Online. If we were to go back to fully face-to-face instruction on October 1st, Allegan Online students could not transition at that point, and kids that are in the hybrid environment would not have an opportunity to transition out due to not feeling as safe. So that is an important factor as well. So we still have to continue to be vigilant, utilize all of our tools at our disposal so that we do not have ongoing transmission. This will allow us to continue to offer at least some in-person instruction and to continue to offer extracurricular activities that are so important to our kids. in the event that we were to have some transmission, some of those things could be jeopardized, and that would not be good for our community. We know that this is hard. We know it's a long way from normal, but if we want to offer what we are now, we need to continue following those guidelines. And as always, I'm here to listen. Please reach out to ask questions of anything that might be on your mind regarding the decision-making process, how we came to this conclusion, and why we feel that at this time, with the COVID data as it stands today, it is the most safe choice to continue with a hybrid approach, at least for the first trimester, and that will be reassessed monthly. Again, feel free to reach out to me at the email you see on your screen or the phone number, and I hope to hear from you if you have any questions or concerns at this time.